here in Ottawa, and I discovered coaching, and I'm passionate about public service, organization from public service. I understand the challenges they face. And actually, my niche is working with the federal government and the municipality in Ontario and in Québec. Alors, je suis coach passionnée des organisations publiques. Je viens de ce monde-là. J'ai été auparavant une vice-présidente des ressources humaines pendant plus de 25 ans. Je connais les défis des organisations publiques, donc j'ai un attachement. Et en ce moment, mes clients se retrouvent principalement au gouvernement fédéral et dans les municipalités au Québec et en Ontario. Et mes clients préférés, my preferred clients are the one who wants to make a difference, a significative difference in their milieu. Donc, les clients qui sont mes préférés, c'est ceux qui lèvent la main, qui disent « Je veux faire une différence pour les citoyens canadiens ».
Thank you, Hélène. Merci beaucoup pour l'introduction. And I thought it was really important also to invite Hélène with her panelist, also to bring a perspective on what other tools combined with coaching can be offered. So I'll keep that in mind for the presentation, because Hélène is using a psychometric tool that we will not do an extensive presentation, but we will highlight the benefits of combining leadership tools, psychometric tools in combination with programs, a coaching program, how it can serve leaders in the public service. J'aimerais enchaîner avec la présentation de Luc Chamberlain. Luc, j'aimerais, s'il vous plaît, tu peux te présenter aux membres qui sont avec nous en ligne.
Bonjour France, et ça me fait plaisir d'être ici ce matin. Bon, Luc Chamberlain, je travaille présentement à l'Office canadien des transports, mais réellement, mon 20 ans de carrière a eu lieu à Transport Canada. J'ai changé de poste récemment, là, au milieu du mois d'octobre. Et puis, j'ai eu le plaisir d'avoir Hélène comme coach sur une période prolongée, et ça a vraiment eu un impact assez significatif, je dirais, dans ma vie personnelle et professionnelle. J'ai eu un autre coach aussi avant, qu'Hélène connaît d'ailleurs, qui avait une approche complémentaire à celle d'Hélène. Et je peux vraiment dire que le coaching, quand on s'y engage à fond et qu'on est ouvert à la rétroaction, peut vraiment nous emmener à avoir une autre perspective de nous, et aussi de libérer le meilleur en nous-mêmes, si je pourrais dire ainsi.
Merci Luc pour la belle introduction. Alors, gestionnaire et impliqué aussi, qui a vécu le coaching. Je vais me tourner maintenant vers Sophie Miller. Sophie, could you share a bit more about who you are, where you're working from, and how coaching was introduced just quickly before we start?
Thank you, France. So Sophie Meller, I am a CPA, and I've been working for the Office of the Auditor General for the past 18 years. I can say that my coaching has been done throughout my career, probably informally, but maybe more formally since 2018, when our office actually started its leadership program. And I'm really happy that our office actually started to do this, because it really helped our office to be able to bring it to another level. And our office truly believes that continuous learning is really important. And by definition, we do our best work. And at the Office of the Auditor General, as everyone knows, we do our work for Canadians. So that's really important to us. So to come back to our leadership program, our office, this is something that's been offered training throughout all the management level at our office. And more focus was given to a cohort, so a small group of 8 employees, which I personally had the opportunity to be part of. And that's where I actually got to be introduced to Hélène Hamilton as my personal coach. And I must say, it's been a wonderful journey for me as a participant of this program. It's helped to advance our common learning, and I've learned so much from this, from a professional side and also from a personal note. So I'll stop there, France. I'm happy to share more if needed.
And I invite also the panelists to look at the comments of participants, what attracted them to your session today, because it will maybe help you focus on a specific angle for your message. Let me move on to Maude Laporte-Roy. Maude Laporte-Roy, what first your role within the public service and how maybe coaching was introduced to you?
Yeah, thank you, France. So I'm currently a free agent within the public service. I'm based in TBS. I'm working for the Public Service Commission. And I first decided to do some coaching because of this role. As a free agent, you kind of have to find your gigs and try to think about what you want to work on. And I thought that coaching could help me to analyze what would be important for me in those roles. And it's actually because of you that I started coaching, because last year there was a coaching summit that I've been part of, and I had one coaching session with Hélène. I really liked our vibe. I really liked her energy. And then I started to do some departmental coaching because the PSC is offering coaching session for their employees. And that was really a good opportunity for me. Donc, j'ai décidé de commencer à faire du coaching au sein du ministère de la CFP. Puis quand ce moment de coaching-là s'est terminé, j'ai décidé de revenir voir Hélène pour poursuivre mon coaching. Donc, c'est vraiment grâce au sommet du coaching l'année dernière que j'ai commencé à faire du coaching. Et puis, bien, j'ai bien hâte de partager mon expérience de coaching là, un peu plus tard avec vous.
Merci beaucoup, Maude, pour cette courte introduction, mais en même temps qui nous rend encore plus curieux. J'aimerais enchaîner peut-être avec une question qui souvent est la question. There's a question that people tend to ask themselves, what is coaching and why me? Why should I benefit from coaching? So I'd like to know, what was your perception when coaching was offered to you or introduced to you in your leadership program or as a leader? So Luc, would you like to maybe explain how coaching was introduced in your leadership role, and what was your first impression when you were offered coaching?
That's a good question, France, and I'll be candid. I hope people can hear me better. Can you hear me better now?
It seems a bit louder, but we'll pay attention.
Okay, I'll try. Usually don't have problems with my systems. I'm not too sure this morning what's going on, but I'll speak louder and people can give me a comment if that's not the case. So look, yeah, when the coaching is approached, I was a young executive or younger executive, I would say, when this was suggested to me. And at first I have to admit that there can be a little bit of a reaction as to, okay, well, what's wrong with me? You know, like if you're proposing coaching is because something is wrong with you. It's a bit like if someone is you know, proposing that you go and meet with a therapist. That's because something is wrong with you. So that can be the initial reaction. But really, I have to admit, I took it as a like a growth opportunity. So une opportunité de grandir, de réfléchir sur soi. And then the one thing that, you know, I had a sense of is when you're into a leadership position, things are a little bit different. The expectations are different from you than in your previous types of positions, and your role is different too. And I had a hinge that, okay, geez, like what brought me to success earlier in my career, it's not necessarily what's going to bring me to success, you know, as a leader. Without me, you know, being able to put the finger on it, I had that intuition, I would say, and I said, okay, coaching can probably help me answer that question and let me dive into, you know, what is it that I need, that I have as a leader and that I need to work on as a leader. So I would say that was my initial reaction.
Thank you. Thank you, Luc. I'm curious to see how Sophie, because this was part of a leadership program, Sophie, your initial reaction to coaching was what? And maybe the definition you had when you started in a coaching relationship.
So maybe to speak a little bit more about the leadership program at the Office of the Auditor General. So as I mentioned, it's offered to all at the management level. And as part of being part of the cohort, we received more intensive training that allowed us to go deeper into what we wanted to learn. But at the same time, and I'll get to maybe the details, but it was over a two-year program, and various aspects was developed for it. So my personal coaching started with a Swiss Nova assessment, which was what was done with the help of 5 hours of integral coaching with Eden. And what was very interesting from this is that I really got to discover my strengths and my areas of development in an environment based on trust with my coach, which was really, really great. And the 5 hours of coaching led me to an accelerated and exponential growth that led me into a transformation of actually myself, unfolding into a higher, deeper, wider potential. So I got to see things differently, but that's really how my leadership, my coaching helped me. And what's really great is that our office has since allowed this type of NOVA evaluation to be done to a larger population within our office. And I'm really happy we did that because the individual briefing really assists you, and by definition assists our office in building our leaders for the future. So I'm really happy. So if I have to give a word for coaching, it's really learning about yourself and your potential to transform to a better person, or to the level you want to be.
Et nous pourrons explorer, Sophie, un peu les outils psychométriques ou les outils de découverte et exposer d'autres que Swiss Nova aussi. Swiss Nova est un des outils. On a souvent aussi des outils tels que les 360 que plusieurs gestionnaires vont vivre, des tests d'intelligence émotionnelle. So there are many other tools, but today we'll focus on the Swiss Nova that you all lived. But just to say that there are also other tools that all the other participants online might be more aware of, like EQI through 360 that we offer within the public service that is led by the Public Service Commission. So there's other tools as well that can be combined with a good coaching relationship. J'aimerais aller vers Maude maintenant, la porte 3, parce que Maude, tu as une particularité, c'est d'avoir eu la chance de vivre le coaching avant même d'être nécessairement à 20 ans de carrière. Donc, tu as la chance d'avoir le goût du coaching. You lived a coaching moment earlier in your career. Can you tell a bit more about comment tu as vécu cette première conversation de coaching-là dans le contexte, oui, du sommet du coaching en mai dernier? Mais toi, ta perception du coaching, c'était quoi avant de l'avoir vécu, puis comment ça t'a été présenté?
Donc, moi, je suis en début de carrière là, et donc, c'est sûr que mon expérience par rapport au coaching, puis ma vision est différente de celle de Luc et de Sophie en ce sens. Ce que je trouvais intéressant du coaching, c'est que je pense que c'est important en début de carrière de pouvoir développer sa boîte à outils. Puis, j'étais intéressée à le faire tôt en carrière parce que je pense que c'est quelque chose qui va me servir pour longtemps. Et donc, c'est ça qui m'intéressait du coaching. C'est-à-dire que le mentorat peut aider à travers différentes expériences, puis choisir certaines choses, puis comprendre un peu les cheminements de carrière qu'on voudrait avoir. Mais le coaching aide vraiment à développer ses outils, ça aide à comprendre ses forces, puis ce qu'on pourrait appeler ses faiblesses, puis voir comment on peut y pallier. Et c'est ça qui m'intéressait vraiment en début de carrière. So I'm still a new professional, really involved in the young professional community. And I thought that coaching will help me because I had a leadership role at the time with the young professional network of my department. And I thought that like having all those tools and building my toolbox would help me in this leadership role early on. And of course, those tools are useful for all your career. And that's why I wanted to start coaching early on. And I really think it's amazing to have this opportunity as a young professional to have a better understanding of who I am, of my behaviors, and how to be conscious of them and how they can impact other people, and how I can be a better colleague, a better leader, a better employee with the tools that I'm developing right now through coaching.
Thank you, Mo. Then you're mentioning something important. Receiving coaching when you are younger or at your start of the career is not usual within the public service right now. It's something that we're more diving into, and we hope will shift. But definitely, it's something that you benefited from that is not offered widely to all younger or at the more junior level position. I'd like to hear a bit more about, Helen, your coaching perspective and how you're introducing coaching within the public service, and maybe the first reaction that you have, or the first thing you have to do when not convincing people the benefit of coaching, but how do you present coaching within the workplace?
So it's a really interesting question. I have to think about it because at this time, at this stage of my business of coaching, it's like I attract clients who are, it seems they have a calling. Il y a comme une ouverture qui se fait. Donc, les gens m'appellent, ils ont parlé, par exemple, à Luc, and they feel that it might be something they could benefit from. So I'm really lucky. So I know I don't really answer your question because at this time, I'm really lucky. The clients who are ready, and I look at Maude because I love working with the young generation because it's so easy. They want it. So yes, maybe you can ask me another question if I don't, but it's really easy actually. And one of the way I introduce it is with the NOVA. I help the client discover themselves. Mm-hmm. With this tool, they are able to see their needs. Mm. And then they are able to, if they meet their needs, they can be more flexible. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice way to introduce coaching because they have the debriefing and they say, okay, how can I move forward? Because I want to be more conscious of my impact in the milieu, and I want to work and to better influence dans mon milieu. Donc, qu'est-ce que je peux faire maintenant? Donc, le coaching devient un bel outil pour le développement.
Merci. Merci, Hélène. Ce que je pense que je voudrais juste qu'on aborde un peu, c'est la perspective il y a des gens qui vont vouloir, pour s'améliorer au niveau de leur leadership, se connaître un peu plus. So some participants have the willingness to improve by knowing themselves a bit more and focus on their strength, maybe improve a bit of the gray zones or the areas of growth. So that's kind of a personal intention. There's also the perspective that some organization, like what Sophie, you went through in the organization, you have a leadership program and you integrate coaching within the leadership program. And there's that fostering of a coaching culture within the public service where leaders like Luc are mindful of, okay, I need to improve this. I'm becoming a leader at a certain level. I need to, increase my pace or change my leadership style. So it becomes like more a personal path to a certain style of leadership or improve a certain style of leadership. So there's different ways to integrate coaching, individual coaching. There's also other models like peer coaching circles or group coaching or trainings in the leadership program. So what would you say right now is your role within organization? At what level do you feel there's an opening happening right now in certain culture organizations? It might be a tricky question, Hélène.
Okay, so what I see is the need to have a better collaboration, and we feel the need, and clients come to us to ask for help to build more well, you know, we talk about resilience, and resilience as a leader, but also as a team. We talk about trust, building trust, building more flexibility to adapt or to be comfortable with the unknown. This is pretty much the topic that maybe the clients who call us to have to ask us to have provide a service, they don't have those words. But when we go deeper, this is the pain we have actually. We need to work better, transversal. On doit avoir une collaboration transversale plus fluide. On doit être capable de prendre la hauteur pour voir the bigger picture. What is really the problem here? Donc, beaucoup de synergie d'équipe, de se comprendre comme membre d'équipe. Donc, we talk a lot about the collective intelligence. So,
thank you, Hélène. I'll stop you there because I'd like to see there are a few questions in the chat where people are asking, and it might be a good question for the panelists. How do I get coaching? How do I get approved within my organization? So that's a very good question. How do I not just receive, if it's individual coach is an external, I need to hire someone. Donc, comment je peux aller chercher un coach versus comment je le fais approuver? Dans le cas de Sophie, je vais aller vers toi, Sophie, mais ensuite, j'aimerais aller vers Luc et Maude. Sophie was part of a leadership program. So I guess it was identification of talent or certain types of leaders who are benefiting from a program. But can you tell us more about how would you go about getting access to a coach within your organization?
So within our organization, so to get access to a coach specifically, so at this point, what's really great is that our office is actually starting to do these NOVA assessments and getting some of the debriefing, and we're doing it in a phase as we're going ahead and modernizing our processes, our technology, and also our people to a certain extent. So we are kind of organizing ourselves to create these coaching moments at different levels within our organizations and getting synergies done. So we're beginning these opportunities. I would say another way to get some coaching, this summit is actually a great way to get access to a coach right now, and getting that information in advance, I thought was a great idea, which within our office, we shared all of this opportunity with all our employees. So this was really great. So at this point, at a high level, that's really, I would say, would be some of the key aspects to share. But we also have within our organization the mentality of coaching as we're going along and doing our work, so that we're building our future leaders as we go along in our work, and also making sure that we're developing people so that as they grow in the organization, they're able to also play a future role as a coach and as a leader within our organization. So we're not just starting within the management level, but also we're looking for people to be coached within our groups and our teams, because if we don't do that, people won't be able to play their roles and be good coaches and good leaders otherwise.
Thank you, Sophie. So I'm hearing more the word of building that coaching culture within your organization, which seems to be something that is being fostered in your organization. What about you, Luc? Luc, dans ton cas, le mot coaching t'a été introduit, offert, mais ce serait quoi les recommandations pour quelqu'un qui voudrait recevoir du coaching, qui n'aurait peut-être pas accès à des programmes de coaching à l'interne?
OK. C'est une bonne question. Ben, je vois un peu ça dans mon organisation présentement, parce que j'ai des gens qui, dans une discussion que j'ai eue avec eux, ont exprimé l'intérêt d'avoir du coaching, et j'ai approché la gestion senior par rapport à ça. Je pense que qu'est-ce qui est important, je vais être vraiment de base, là, mais c'est de réfléchir sur le pourquoi qu'on veut le coaching. Qu'est-ce qu'on veut avoir là-dedans? Qu'est-ce qu'on veut retirer de ça? Je pense que ça, c'est le point de départ selon moi, parce que quand on a une idée, quand même que ce n'est pas super précis, etc., mais qu'on a une idée, écoute, là, moi, j'ai besoin de coaching pour raison X, Y, Z, puis voici qu'est-ce que je peux voir que les bénéfices du coaching qui vont être pour moi et pour mon organisation. Si on est capable de nommer ça, nommer son besoin de développement et les bénéfices pour soi et pour l'organisation, je pense qu'une fois qu'on a fait ça, on peut parler de façon convaincue aux gens qui sont en position de décision, les gens qui contrôlent le budget, etc. Et on peut avoir l'aide qu'on a besoin. Ça me surprendrait beaucoup que quelqu'un soit capable de nommer son besoin et les bénéfices, puis que l'organisation dise « Ah non, nous, non, c'est pas important pour nous de coacher. Peut-être pas l'année, peut-être pas exactement au moment, basé sur la disponibilité budgétaire, là, mais de ce que j'ai vu dans mon expérience, quand on est capable de bien faire ça, les gens sont assez responsables et font preuve de support pour aller de l'avant avec le coaching.
Alors, j'entends beaucoup le développement aussi des compétences, identifier le besoin, so identify the need, identify the leadership competency that you want to improve with the help of a coach. So it might be a way to link it with your learning plan. I saw, Maud, your response in the chat to someone who asked the question. In the context of being a younger public servant, entering and starting at your career within the public service, how would you negotiate when you had to negotiate receiving the help of a coach? So how would you, or what would be your recommendation?
So first of all, I would say you have a very powerful tool, which is your learning plan. Everything that you want to do, you want to develop, go through your learning plan. I'm sure that depending on your department, it could be very different. And some departments use it more than other, but it's a very good way to make sure that you're going to have access to the learning opportunities that you want. So that's the first thing. And that's all. Every time I talk to young professionals, that's what I'm telling them. Use your learning plan. If you want to be part of a young professional community, if you want coaching, that's the first step. Then you have to, I'm lucky enough that I'm currently working for the Public Service Commission, as I said, and they really believe in their young professional. So the coaching services are actually services for non-EX employees. So for managers, but also for just regular employees that want to work on something. And I think that's a good way. I know that many departments have departmental coach, and I think that there's a few of them that offer coaching not only for their EX, so directors, and above, but also for their younger employees or managers. So that's a good way to start. And then what I did this year to make sure that I can continue coaching, because I had my 8th session plan with the department, was to put it in my learning plan and actually use the learning budget that we have to use it for coaching. So as I said, for me, it's really important to develop a toolbox to develop a better understanding of myself. And I think it's going to be really useful for all my career and for all the departments I'm going to work for all the employees I'm going to work with. And that's a way of selling it, saying, yeah, I'm doing this for me, but I'm going to be a better employee after that. I probably going to increase my performances because I'm going to be more effective working with people. And that's a very good way of selling it because the organization also gets something out of it. Donc, votre plan d'apprentissage, vraiment important. Utilisez votre budget de formation si vous en avez. Regardez vos ressources ministérielles. Il y a plein de ressources qui existent, qui sont à votre disposition. Puis après ça, essayez de vendre non seulement ce que ça va vous apporter, mais aussi ce que ça va apporter aux organisations, ce que ça va apporter au milieu de travail, puis ultimement aux Canadiens, que vous deveniez un meilleur employé, puis que vous soyez capable de travailler plus efficacement avec les autres, puis devenir un meilleur leader aussi.
Merci, Maud. Thank you, Maud. I'd like maybe to explain a bit the difference between coaching and mentoring, because I realized that we didn't really clarify what coaching really was. I hear program, 8 sessions, leadership programs, build my competencies. So would someone have a clear or simple definition of what is coaching versus mentoring, just so we are clear on what it is? Let me turn to Hélène. Hélène, you're the coach. Can you explain a bit more what is the difference?
So a quick one would be mentoring is about expertise, transferring expertise, knowledge, way of doing. And for coaching, it would be creating the space for the individual to find his best way of, his effortless, I like this word in English, effortless way of being to achieve his goal. Alors le mentorat, c'est beaucoup une relation de quelqu'un qui a fait le travail et qui peut transmettre une façon de faire, une expertise, alors que le coaching est beaucoup d'aider l'autre personne à trouver ses façons de faire qui sont effortless pour eux.
Merci, Hélène. Donc, la différence, we see a lot more mentoring, or some people understand coaching more as a mentoring role. Donc, le mentor a vraiment le rôle d'expert versus le coach est quelqu'un qui accompagne le participant, donc dans son effortless way of being at his best. I'd like to know, and I have a few questions in the chat that I'll just save on the side because I'd like to explore what has changed within your leadership style since you've lived coaching. We say it's transformative, it's effortless, it really helps with relationship, but how has this been helpful for you in your role? And I'd like to start with Sophie.
Merci, France. I would say if I needed to talk about one thing, so I discovered that we'll talk about the colors from the NOVA assessment, that I'm a very yellow person, meaning I have a natural ability to talk to people, to gather people together, to create relationships, to maintain good relationships with people. I have that ability. So when I saw that I had that ability, that's something that I knew that I could further improve. And at the same time, I was able to use that ability to transform my leadership style, which was I had been promoted when around the time Hélène I had to receive her coaching from let's say a leadership that's in the action to more a leadership in an influence type of style, and that knowing that ability that I had, that helped me bring my style to a different level. It also helped me, and Hélène knows this, it helped me achieve my why. My why is to be able to help people. And the coaching helped me to have trust in my abilities to go forward, to be able to achieve that why. So that's how it helped me. So knowing my strengths and also my areas of development, personally, I was able to do that shift in changing my roles and also further going forward in my career.
It seems, Sophie, the words that comes into mind is also empowering, trust in yourself, trust in you, knowing your skills, and respect your skills and your strength as well. That's what I'm hearing as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And it seems to be energizing to be in that coaching relationship because you respect who you are as a human being, and you offer that to, and it increases your why, I guess, and your engagement. Let me go to Luc. Luc, in you as a leader, living coaching, how has this changed? Comment ceci a changé ton style de leadership?
Merci, France. Et un peu, Sophie, j'ai bien aimé son commentaire, puis qu'elle est très forte dans le jaune. Moi, mon jaune est plutôt bas. Il faudrait peut-être que j'aille prendre un café avec Sophie. Mais bon, cela étant dit, écoute, c'est un petit peu comme ce que dit Sophie d'une certaine manière, c'est de bien l'outil que donne l'évaluation NOVA et bien sûr l'analyse et la discussion avec le coach aide vraiment à mieux se comprendre et nous apporte certaines découvertes. OK? Donc, la découverte pour moi, qui était pas, ce qui n'était pas une surprise, c'était que le bleu et le rouge sont forts. Donc, le bleu, c'est toute la capacité d'analyse, l'aspect cartésien, la logique, tout ça. Ça, c'était extrêmement fort de mon bord. C'est ça comme analyste senior. Le rouge aussi était fort. Ça, c'est l'action, les résultats. On livre la marchandise, on répond aux attentes. Ça aussi, c'était fort. C'est bien, il n'y a pas rien de mal là. Mais le vert qui est plutôt l'harmonie, le partenariat, être capable de voir le tableau d'ensemble, ça, je l'avais, mais il était sous-exploité. Et c'était là la découverte pour moi. Et puis, vraiment, Hélène, là-dedans, m'a accompagné, à réaliser ça, que je l'avais en moi, mais que pour une raison ou une autre, dans le cadre professionnel, je ne l'utilisais pas. Je ne me faisais pas confiance à mon instinct. Tu sais, le gut feeling, j'y faisais pas confiance parce que c'était tout le temps mon bleu. Hey, c'est quoi que dit l'analyse objective, cartésienne, etc. Donc, je sous-exploitais et à mon détriment et au détriment vraiment de mon organisation. Et ça m'a permis de découvrir ça et de le mettre plus en application dans ma façon d'être et dans ma façon d'agir avec les autres. So that was the big discovery, I would say, with coaching. And then it's to, Hélène said a lot of things when she interacted about the benefits of coaching. I don't want to repeat all of that. But one that I will repeat, because in my case that was useful, is to prendre de la hauteur, like take a distance from a situation and be able to see what are the different factors at play, and then being able to kind of absorb this, and from that you can see other options that you wouldn't see otherwise, or other solutions or approaches that otherwise you wouldn't see. And for me, I was more in the analytical time space or space, and then the solutions would be based on analytical solutions, but that's not necessarily the best approach in every case. So being able to recover that green and put it more in practice in balance with the other skill sets, that was really beneficial to me.
Thank you, Luc. J'entends aussi les mots stepping away, la perception, être capable de se retirer. I'm hearing as well the word as you're stepping away and you have a broader perspective. Coaching helps you do that. It helps you also feel probably less, not involved in the situation, but maybe changes your impulsivity to have the urgency to react versus to choose your next set of actions. So how does this help with impulsivity before I move to mode?
Good. That's good for us. I mean, given that question, it's almost like if you were part of the coaching I had.
I know the colors. That's why you said red and blue. Okay.
Yeah. So you have a good intuition, I'd like to say. Look, I think it does, because often, it delays your reaction. So instantly, you're facing a situation. This is how you would react. Now with the coaching, it allows you to de-accelerate that reaction and say, okay, wait a second here. Am I being reactive? Am I, upset right now, or concerned? Or, I want to take action right away because this is a problem that I just want to move aside. So it helps you kind of delay that response. And by delaying that response, as you said, having a bigger perspective, considering other factors at play, and then often, a better approach emerges through that. And I find it as a leader, it allows you to be a lot calmer, I would say, in tough situation and in an environment of uncertainty, like we're going through right now because of COVID and all of this. Allows you to be calm at the helm, And often your decision making is gonna be a lot better for that reason. So yeah.
Thank you, Luc. Thank you for adding this. Maude, what has changed for you?
That's very interesting. I'm still in my coaching process, so I already see change, but I think they're going to increase with time. What I do like about the Nova profile, and I guess we're going to probably explain it a little bit more to the participants, but so it shows your behavior, and they distinct the natural behavior with the adapted one. And in my case, what I really saw is the difference was quite big between the natural behaviors and the adapted one. And that's where sometimes when I was in a situation, I didn't feel well with myself about like how I was dealing with the situation, or the view that I had of myself was a little more based on my adapted behavior, and I wasn't much in peace with that. And knowing that I have the skills to be able to face a situation the way I would like to do it, because naturally that's how I am. It's how it helps me, and that's where I can improve. And as Sophie, my yellow is very strong, but this yellow changed to red when I'm facing some stressful situation. And that's where you got to be careful. And that's where you don't get all people on board with you. And that's probably where I didn't like as much the way I was reacting. So, of course, there's big work to do regarding this. It won't be accomplished in a night, but I think that's where I can really see a difference and where I'm starting to improve. And that's a very interesting thing in the Nova profile. And I just want to trace back to Tracy sent a question in the chat about like the integrate approach. And I think it would be nice to touch base with this, because natural and adapted behavior are also real in the real life, not only in the work life. And the Nova profile is always very informative in your personal life, not only the work life. And few of the homeworks that Ellen gave me was actually about my family and how I interact with them, and what are their perception of it. So it's not only for work. And I think probably that we will have time to go a little bit more in detail of Tracy's question.
Thank you, Maude. And yes, I think it was useful to present the maybe some of the colors. I know there are many slides that are part of the presentation, but I'd like maybe to turn over to Ellen to maybe just go over quickly the tool. I know it's similar to the insights for those who knows other tools. The colors might change from one tool to another, but the purpose of a psychometric tool is to know ourselves in our strength area, our weaknesses. And I think the big word is, how do I adapt to not only the environment, but the people that are around me? So Ellen, would you like to maybe explore just quickly the tool? Not that we want a course on the tool itself, but how is this useful for participants in a coaching moment?
OK. Est-ce que tu veux retourner à la diapo où est-ce qu'il y a le cercle avec un peu plus ouais, au tout début de la présentation? So what is the Nova? Yes, you see the color. So this is pretty much disc and inside, so it's the same basis. And OK, oui, oui, c'est ça. So the Nova is about nous donner de l'information sur our preferred behaviors and our motivation. So there's two parts in that tool. Il y a deux parties à cet outil-là. Il y a le langage des couleurs, la roue des couleurs, qui est basé qui nous révèle nos préférences comportementales, qui est basé sur nos besoins. So what I like about the Nova, you can go now, France, at the color. So when we talk about our preferred behaviors, and now we talk about the colors, what I
Is this the
really
right
like-
one, Hélène?
Non, la roue avec les couleurs que tu avais tout à l'heure, un petit peu plus loin dans la présentation.
OK.
Celle-là, oui. So what is interesting, because we talk about color, but we don't want to talk about color in the workplace. We want to talk about needs. So if you see under the dominance of the red, you see the need for challenge and action. And the yellow is the need for interaction and fun. And the green is about stability, need for harmony, calm pace. And the blue, as Luc said, it's about standard, structure, les normes et les procédures, tout l'aspect analytique. And with that language of color, of needs, we can explore what is true for our clients. And usually you don't have only one color, you are c'est un arc-en-ciel de couleurs. And then we have a conversation to see what is natural, what is effortless for you, what is ta façon d'être naturelle. Et on le voit avec le graphique naturel. I don't have the natural and the adapted in the PowerPoint, but the tool show what is our true self, I would say, and what might be your adapted position or style when you are under stress or at work, or even in a specific situation, because the adapted could change over time, but not the natural. And so my role with the client is to have a conversation to see what is effortless for the client. So let's say Sophie told us that it was really easy for her to influence people, to have connection with people. And it was fun for her to do that. And Luc told that, well, my yellow is not that high, but he can influence also. But it comes from another set of natural quality that he owns. So we want to find what are our true quality. We don't talk about competency with the NOVA profile. We talk about qualities, essential qualities. And what Luc was saying about his adapted, that il coupait son verre de ses talents naturels. So he went into, il allait dans un mode réactif. So, and then there's other behavior. When you go into a reactive mode, you're not into your essential quality, but more into reactive behavior. And you want to know that, because really the tool, the NOVA, and probably many more tool, is about knowing yourself better and knowing others, that others have different needs. Donc, on veut reconnaître que les autres ont aussi des besoins différents, puis que ça se manifeste différemment aussi. Souvent, on a tous la valeur du respect, mais dans nos comportements, ils se manifestent différemment. Donc, we want to have this conversation with others. And also what Luc was saying, we want to take into consideration the need of the situation. And
would you like me to show what you have in your hands, Hélène?
Yes, you have.
Because I think you have it in your slide.
Yes.
Let me just give me a few seconds. Oh, when there's animation in it, I have to go through it. Sorry. Is it that slide here?
No, but this is a good one, because we talk about color and we have all those color. Okay, so this was the previous one, but it's okay. So this is, yeah, we call it the NOVA profile optimal efficiency. So it's about knowing better yourself. It's yourself and your impact. So what are your need, and becoming more conscious of your impact on others, and then be able to see the need of others so you can adapt, and you become really effective when you can take into consideration the need of a situation. So sometimes we need, on dit en français minuit moins quart, we have to go into action. So sometimes the situation is really red, but sometimes the situation is helping people and asking if we're doing what we have our why. So are we serving well the citoyens canadiens? So this could be green energy. So we want to take the time to see si on est en train de faire ce qu'on a dit qu'on allait faire. So
Merci.
we like to play with that in coaching.
Merci Hélène. Je sais qu'on pourrait explorer beaucoup l'outil, puis il y a plusieurs questions qui entrent aussi en lien avec l'outil. The tool, you can have access to it. Some departments are offering it through their leadership programs. You might use the service of a coach who has also the hat of a psychometric tool that they can administer. So there's many ways you can have access to this. What I'd like maybe to reinforce and what I'm getting out of the coaching moment, but also the tool, is that you have a sense that yes, you're struggling in your leadership role, but you're not broken. And there are solutions to emphasis on your strengths and maybe improve your gray zones or your growth area. I don't like to use the word weakness because I don't see it as a weakness. You all have those colors. What would be I'll just stop the sharing here. What would be your recommendation for someone who wants to start coaching? We have about 37 minutes left. You want your team, your colleagues, your employees, or maybe some of them have already went to you and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. How would you approach someone and offer them coaching without being seen as broken? You're broken. You need to be fixed. Sophie?
Donc, je vais prendre l'opportunité de répondre en français, puis je vais summariser les points clés en anglais. Si j'avais un employé qui voulait avoir du coaching, je pense que c'est d'être capable de voir et d'identifier c'est quoi qu'ils ont de la difficulté avec, c'est quoi les aspects qu'ils trouvent qui sont difficiles. Et là, c'est de poser la question « Pourquoi? » Donc, c'est vraiment de se questionner c'est quoi exactement pour aller vraiment à la source de la difficulté. Et c'est de là, ça nous aide souvent à réaliser que qu'est-ce qu'on croyait être la difficulté, que finalement, ce n'est pas nécessairement la situation comme telle. Donc, je crois que le coaching aide à nous orienter, à voir vraiment c'est quoi. Et souvent, on réalise qu'avec l'aide du coaching, que des fois, la solution est plus simple qu'on le croyait. So as part of when an employee is coming to me with a difficulty in terms of, that they're broken or that they're not, meeting the expectations of what we think they need to achieve. I think it's making sure that they're questioning themselves, of really finding out the root cause and asking the question why. And then that kind of brings you to the level that I think that's important to really discover what's difficult. And what I find important is really taking that stance and looking at it. For me personally, one of the aspects I thought was really interesting when I did my coaching with Hélène was one of the areas I knew I was having I was seeing I was having a lack of energy is when I would have to have difficult conversations. And I saw that was really eating my energy. I would feel completely tired. J'étais vide d'énergie après. Puis j'essayais de comprendre le pourquoi. Et c'est avec le coaching que j'ai eu que là, j'ai réalisé que toutes les situations de discussion difficiles qui est dans le fond dans une section rouge, qui m'apporte à voir que c'est un niveau qui est très bas pour moi. Donc, c'était de voir comment mes habiletés, j'étais capable d'adresser ces situations-là pour que je ne sois pas vide d'énergie après que j'avais ces discussions difficiles-là. Et là, ça m'a permis à voir la situation différente puis d'utiliser mes habiletés naturelles du jaune pour m'aider à me retrouver dans une situation que même si j'avais de la discussion après, mon niveau d'énergie, j'étais capable de continuer ma journée. So I was still able to continue my day despite having difficult conversations, and it's using my natural ability. So I'm now able, with the learning I've achieved, transfer that knowledge to people who I work with, whether it's employees or colleagues or even my supervisors.
Thank you, Sophie. And I think you're mentioning something very, very important. In leadership programs, we often give courses on how to manage a difficult conversation, and you know the information in your head, but there's that energy and something draining you that is heavy to navigate with. So what you're saying is how, yeah, you might understand it as well, but the effect on you is something that you need to assess, and through the coaching and also through those psychometric tools, it's useful because now you know why and you can change that. So that's very, very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I'd like to move to Luc. Luc, if you had to offer coaching, or someone in your team wants coaching, I know you're open to it, but how would you address the situation?
Merci, France. So I think it depends on the person, right? Like it's hard to, I would say, to provide an answer that would be applicable in all circumstances, because it depends, I would say, on the personality of the individual, and the type of trust relationship you have with the person as well, and where the person is at in their leadership development and in the career progression. So yeah, all of this comes into play, I think, in how you would respond and accompany the person in that request. Um, I know, I mean, there's a person in my team right now who approached me on coaching, and when when we started the conversation, I wanted to know what was the need. Like it's why, where's the need for coaching, and also the a tough question sometimes when people want to play a leadership role in the organization is, what is their motivation to become a leader? I remember, earlier in my career, I took a course, and it was, I think the title of the course from the Public Service Commission was "To Be or Not to Be an EX," something like that. And took it because I quite kind of questioned myself on this, and at first I didn't even have an answer to this, but it's a bit the same. Like question the person of what the need is, and you need to have like that trust relationship, and that takes time to establish. Like because the reverse is true. Like if I may, France, I'll venture a little bit outside the scope of your question, because I've had in my experience situations where you think someone needs coaching and they don't realize it, and you as a leader and a person responsible for the organization and the performance evaluation of that person, you need to have that tough conversation. And it's a little bit what Sophie was saying is, how do you have that tough conversation, and how do you bring a person to that conversation? You cannot, I don't think you can have the conversation just cold like that. So you kind of need to prepare the fertile ground for that conversation to take place. But that is also a challenge. How do you approach someone about that, right? And I had to do this in my career earlier when I was an executive, first year as an executive, because I had a manager who was struggling a little bit, and it was sad to see him struggling too, you know. And I think the way I approached it, based on who I am, based on my color, I guess, and without even knowing it at the time, was with my dream, like the empathy of, like, I see this person struggling, and they're stressed and they're exhausted, and I want to help out. And that's the avenue I took to approach this person in a conversation, and it worked out well. Now, at the end of the coaching that they received back then, they decided to not to be a manager anymore. And this was that was the best solution for that person. Now, the person came to that conclusion himself, It's not, it was not a predetermined conclusion, was not something I've advised of or anything like that, but through the coaching and the self-reflection and all of that, that's the conclusion the person came to. And that was to their own benefit, and I would say the benefit of the organization. So the other point is true too, is how do you support someone coming to you with a coaching need? My suggestion would be, you can say yes and support the problem, but try to investigate a little bit the why and what's the motivation, what they want to get out of it.
Yes.
And also, then if someone you think needs coaching, how do you approach someone like this? And it's a little bit delicate, and I would say you need to establish that trust relationship to do that.
Yeah. So reinforcing trust, and also the definition they have of coaching, a bit like you were mentioning your story, Luc, at the beginning, when coaching was offered to you, your perception of, well, what's wrong with me? So make sure that we offer the right definition and the right intention. I just want to address before I go to you, Maude. Yes, leaders can be at all level. We don't put a branding around leadership can definitely be at any level, and there's no label. And also, we'll explore a bit later, there's a few questions on how do I become a coach? There's that coaching competency that people can develop, and I'm sure Luc and Sophie and Maude, you're modelizing the approach in your relationships or in the conversations that you have with people, and we'll explore a bit by the end how you get certified. If you still have a pending question, participants, please write it down because we're near the end. There's only 30 minutes, so please refresh my memory and put the question in the chat box so I can really address it by the end of the session. Maude, now you're next. You're young. You're in the public service, you're a free agent, you're moving on as a free agent from one assignment to another, if I can call it an assignment. So you have a chance to influence. How, and I'll shift the question a bit, how are you using that coaching experience and making it known around you?
I would say by being on this panel, but I'm using this coaching experience as a very personal tool, but also because, as I said earlier, I'm part of a young professional community, and I think what I learn is also some things that I can be transferring to other. It's transferable. Of course, the Nova profile is mine, and it's all about like my behaviors, my motivations. But I feel that other can also learn a little bit about like how can I improve my interaction with other people? How do I face and have this reflection? How do I face challenging situation? It's funny because I don't see at all the perception of coaching because you have a problem that you need to fix. For me, there's always room to improve, always room for improvements, and I think it's really important. And that's why I'm so driven with coaching early on in my career, because I think it will give me a lot of time to improve, and hopefully I'm going to be as perfect as I can be at the end of my career. I said that Xenia wanted to touch motivation a little bit, and I think I can speak to how it helps me as a free agent, and also how it's something that I can share with other people to answer your question. So in the Nova profile, there's different type of motivation. Motivation are basically what's your fuel, what energizes you, what do you need to find this energy. In my case, there's different motivation that I have. One is be surrounded by beauty, aesthetic motivation, and then ask me, okay, so how like do you fuel this motivation of your, how do you comment tu nourris cette motivation là? So I started to put like to hanging things on my wall because my walls were all still white, and after a year at home I think I needed a little decoration here. I went crazy Christmas in my apartment, so there's Christmas everywhere now.
We need to see that.
Oh yeah, okay. I can share something that is currently on my desk. So there's this beautiful like a little lamb. Yeah, I also did some do-it-yourself project around Christmas, and I went. It was a lot of fun. So that was one motivation for me, but it's something that helps me to feel energized through the day, and not only for work but also personal life. So I think those motivation are really useful. And to know it when you're young, it's really nice, because then, and as a free agent even more, because then I can choose my assignment based on, okay, what do I need from this? What is important for me? And will I see that in this assignment? And it's kind of going to help me to ensure that I'm going to be happy in what I choose. So maybe you can touch a little bit more motivation and show the different type of motivation as Zinia asked. But I hope it's going to be at least a little sufficient for you to understand a little bit more this part of the NOVA profile.
Thank you, Maude. Anything else you would like to add, Hélène, to what Maude explained? I think she did an amazing job.
Yes, thank you, Maud. Talking about motivation is so, ça me fait vraiment plaisir, because it's truly it's our fuel. It's where we get our energy.
And as leaders, if I may add, this is something that sometimes people are struggling with, either at a personal level, or if you're leading a team, sometimes you see that people lack motivation. So you might offer great tools here to either implement ways to improve the level of motivation of your team, or at a personal level. So let's hear you, Hélène.
Yes, so let's say you have a member of the team who value utility in everything. So he wants to see the return on investment on anything, on everything. And you have another one who is more altruistic. He feel complete when he's at the service of others. So you won't approach, you can change the way you interact with those people to help them to see, to connect with their motivation. This is really interesting when member of a team can talk to themselves, knowing the motivation they are. I remember one day I was with sous-ministre adjoint. He had a utilitarian motivation, really high, but is in value, he was really altruistic. It was all about others. So he was kind of upset with that motivation. He said, no, je suis pas utilitaire, je suis altruiste. So I asked him at that point, okay, so when you have a DG come with a new project, how do you react? He said, well, I'm asked, what is it in this for the Canadian taxpayer? So this is an altruistic, utilitarian motivation. So that he was fine with that. So he has to see the impact. So this is really fun with teams, but also with individuals. So let's say Maude, she needs beauty in her life. And she was with télétravail and feeling, so she said, yeah, j'ai besoin d'embellir mon espace. This is good for me. So.
Thank you, Hélène. Thank you for highlighting motivation. And I see that, Luc, you responded to the question of confidence, building that confidence. And I really think this is an important topic. How do you increase your level of confidence in yourself, in your skills, in who you are? Would you like to maybe explain a bit more verbally? Est-ce que tu aimerais ajouter un petit peu ce qui est écrit là dans le chat?
Oui, très bien, France. Merci pour l'invitation. Écoute, la question, c'était sur comment tu bâtis ta confiance à mesure que tu te développes comme leader. Et puis, de la façon que j'avais compris la question. Et puis, ma réponse, c'est que c'est vraiment... le coach est un accompagnateur. Une fois que tu as fait le diagnostic, une fois que tu as vu tes couleurs NOVA, naturelles, adaptées, etc., puis tu as passé à travers tout ça avec le coach, vraiment, là, tu es dans un cheminement de pratique. OK? Je te dirais, il y a des nouvelles situations qui se font surface dans ta vie personnelle, professionnelle, et que le coach devient vraiment quelqu'un qui te guide dans comment tu peux réagir de façon nouvelle dans ces circonstances-là en prenant comme levier tes qualités naturelles, puis qu'est-ce qui est approprié dans les circonstances. Et c'est là que ça devient vraiment très puissant, je dirais, le coaching. Donc, je vois vraiment deux volets dans le coaching. Il y a le volet analyse de toi, connaissance de toi, etc. Et l'outil te permet de faire ça avec le coach. Et le deuxième volet, c'est vraiment là, mettre plus en pratique ces qualités-là que peut-être que tu sous-exploitais dans le passé, puis dans différentes situations à laquelle tu fais face. Puis je trouve qu'en faisant ça, et là, tu peux retourner ton coach, regarde, j'ai eu telle situation, dans le passé, j'ai réagi comme ça, maintenant, j'ai réagi comme ça, basé sur ce que je sais maintenant de moi et qu'est-ce que j'ai été capable de percevoir dans la situation comme étant une approche plus appropriée. Puis là, tu as de la rétroaction. C'est ça qui augmente ta confiance, je pense. Puis un des grands bienfaits, c'est que les autres peuvent parler de ça, le mot et Sophie, mais c'est que tu te sens plus en harmonie avec toi-même parce que ça peut devenir stressant vraiment de toujours être dans le rouge ou le bleu ou dans tes couleurs là, adaptées puis que tu forces les choses. Ça peut devenir assez épuisant, ça. Et puis d'être capable d'utiliser un éventail plus élargi de tes qualités naturelles dans des différentes circonstances, c'est moins épuisant. Okay? C'est plus en harmonie avec toi-même. Une chose que je dirais, puis là, ça va faire sourire un petit peu Hélène, si tu me permets, France, mais des fois, écoute, même si ça fait quand même quelques années là, que j'ai eu le coaching, puis je suis toujours intéressé. Le coaching, il peut avoir une période intensive, puis après ça, tu es quand même en développement continu, je te dirais. Puis je me mettrais dans cette phase-là présentement. Mais ça arrive, des fois, il y a des situations, là, puis, ou de la rétroaction que j'ai de gestionnaires ou de gens avec qui j'ai une relation de confiance. C'est maudit, pourquoi j'ai réagi même dans cette situation-là? I know better, tu sais, je sais mieux que ça. Pourquoi que là, j'ai été réactif? C'est comme mon vieux pattern qui est revenu. Puis tout ça, puis des fois, je suis encore en lien avec Hélène, tu sais, puis je partageais ça. Je me disais, OK, Luc, panique pas, n'oublie pas, sois assez doux avec toi, sois bienveillant avec toi. Tu sais, là, des fois, je me dis, oui, c'est vrai, il faut que je sois bienveillant avec moi. Oh my God. Parce que c'est pas mon instinct naturel d'être bienveillant avec moi, mais si on veut être bienveillant avec les autres, il faut l'être avec soi-même. Et puis, fait que je donne juste cet exemple-là, vraiment très personnel, là, pour dire jusqu'à quel point le coach est un guide aussi. Puis des fois, d'avoir une interaction avec le coach comme ça te remet les pendules à l'heure un petit peu pour continuer ton développement.
Merci, Luc, pour ce beau partage. J'aimerais, Hélène, tu vas ajouter?
Oui, j'ajouterais juste un élément sur la question de la confiance, justement. I like to see coaching, integral coaching, parce que c'est l'approche que je partage, puis jumelée au Nova, mais c'est vraiment le coaching, c'est qu'on crée, on aide aux clients à développer, en anglais, ça serait a larger capacity to adapt to many situations.
And
Alors,
we know we need that in 2020.
exactement. Alors, on les aide à voir leurs différentes façons d'agir et accueillir plus de complexité, plus de situations difficiles. As Luc said, après ça, c'est à eux autres de jouer. So, ils avancent avec ça, mais dans les situations de stress, on revient parfois à nos façons réactives, but on a touché à un plus grand espace. Donc, on aime voir notre rôle comme coach, qu'on accompagne un certain temps, mais après, nos clients sont complets, là. On n'a pas besoin de les... Mais on peut aimer continuer la relation. But really, coaching is about creating this space of seeing the complexity and be able to maneuver in this complex world without losing our vital energy too much.
Beautifully summarized. I'd like to go to Sophie. There's a few minutes, about 14 minutes left. Sophie, you're in an organization that seems to include that coaching culture. If you were to influence other organization, and you might not have all the answers, but maybe a few recommendations. If you were to recommend to other organizations to include coaching a little bit more, to foster that coaching culture, using tools, using themes, using coaching, what would be your top 3 recommendation?
Thank you. That's actually a very good question. I think it's important for the organization to think of what they want in the future. And to be able to go or to achieve their vision, they need to bring the people to help them achieve that vision. To be able to do that, you need to give the tools to your individuals to be able to achieve themselves. And to do that, I see coaching a great way to do that. So within our office, we're at that level right now. We want to modernize. And at this point, we've offered coaching at the management level, but I know that in the future, we're exploring ways for our talent management. So what would be the recommendations I would be giving would be give your people the opportunity first to discover themselves, who they are, then how can they work better together so that you get the awareness as an individual and then the awareness within the groups. And then eventually that will bring you to the awareness at a corporate level so that everyone's walking in the same direction for the objectives that you want to achieve. And to me, you're going to get from that result efficiency, effectiveness, engagement, retention. So there's a lot of advantages of doing that. So to me, it's starting, but to the level that you can, but also to think, what do you want to achieve in the future? So I'm maybe not giving you 3 specific things, but I think I'm giving a lot of food for thought for many people who are participating to this panel, but at the same time to maybe other leaders in organizations to see how they can maybe influence or suggest great ways and how to integrate leadership coaching or coaching in their organizations because there's so much advantage of doing this.
Thank you, Sophie. And I'm sure it will attract the younger generation too to work in a public service that has more coaching. So Maude,
Yes.
would you still work in the public service, and how would this retain more of the younger generation? Not to say they're leaving, but how is the coaching retaining people?
I think there's something with younger folks entering the public service and entering the workforce in general, and it's about like work-life balance. They want to have like kind of this sense of importance about what they're doing. They want to make a difference, and I feel like we are more about like having a balance between what we give to the employer, but also what the employers give back as recognition, for example. And so I feel like having access to coaching, having access to self-improve, really answer this need of making a difference, but also feel that you're appreciated and that the employers also invest in you and you don't only invest into your employers. We give a lot of energy while we're working, we give the best of us, and we somehow want to be recognized for this. And I feel like having access to coaching, having access to opportunities, to be able to innovate, to be able to improve, helps younger generation to come within the public service and stay within the public service. So I feel really blessed, and probably that I'm in a great department also for this, but I feel like as a young professional, I really get to make a difference. I really get to improve. I feel really important for my employers, and I think it's great.
Those words resonate so much, and I'm sure it's a state that any public servant want to achieve. Connect differently, feel empowered in the workplace and making a difference and have a stronger why. And I'd like to maybe ask the question, we have 8 minutes left, or 5-6 minutes before I do my conclusion. How do we become a coach? We see also a lot of coaches who are having a multiple hats or different hats, so you can be a leader and also be a certified coach. So certification for a coach is a process. There are different kinds of school. Hélène, you mentioned Integral, there's Ericsson, there's Royal Roads, there's NLP. There's so many schools out there within Canada in French and English or bilingual. So how do you become a coach? Ellen, a few words on that. How do you choose to become a coach?
Je pourrais partager mon expérience.
Oui, en quelques mots.
Yes, so all my career, people told me you talk like a coach, but I wasn't coaching. I was giving advice then. But at one point, it was coming. I knew I wanted a second career in coaching, so I did my research. And I talk, sometimes it's like wanting to have a new hairdresser, or you talk about it and you talk to your friends, and then you feel the connection. You can do your research and see what it is good for you. For me, it was integral coaching. I saw the perfect fit for me. I had the time. It's it's a 1 year program. Alors, j'avais le temps, je voulais m'investir, j'ai choisi cette voie-là, mais il y a plein de bonnes écoles. Donc, faites confiance, faites vos recherches, faites confiance à votre intuition et parlez-en. Du moment où vous allez en parler, vous allez rencontrer des coachs qui vont vous inspirer. Je suis aussi présidente du RCO de l'Outaouais, alors vous pouvez on a accès à plusieurs coachs, donc on peut vous mettre en relation avec des coachs de toutes sortes d'écoles, de toutes sortes d'influences, et vous pourrez faire votre choix.
Merci Hélène. Et évidemment, la RCO, le réseau de coaching de l'Outaouais, qui est un réseau francophone. Il y a l'équivalence aussi, there's the equivalent ICF, International Coach Federation, that has multiple chapters in different provinces, also internationally. And there's probably other organizations that kind of give the code of ethics around the certification of a coach, and also recognizes some schools for different styles of coaching schools. Donc, there's a network, the Government of Canada Coaching Network, that has a GC Collab page. You will see it on the Padlet. I'll put some instruction on how to access this for all the public servants who want to know more about coaching. There's going to be also great sessions this week, live sessions, and hopefully we'll be able to record all of them and without any glitches. But there's going to be also instructions on, today we've really focused on individual coaching, but there's also other kinds of coaching that you can integrate within your coaching, within your organization, which is peer coaching, group coaching, team coaching, individual coaching, that are coaches who are internal versus hiring external coaches. So we're going to demystify all of that this week. And the purpose of the Coaching Summit was really to help you understand the benefits of coaching, the differences of coaching, and live and understand what coaching meant for real people by hearing testimonials like today from Maude, from Sophie, and from Luc. Donc, un mot de la fin pour nos participants qui sont toujours à l'écoute. Je tiens à spécifier, vous avez été très attentifs à écouter. A lot of people stayed online. So one final word that you would like to offer to participants. I'll start with Maude.
Just do it. Just go and take on coaching.
I think it's something that comes from a business. There's a slogan. Just do
yeah,
it.
apparently something like that. I wouldn't say whose slogan it is, but yeah. So just do it and foncez.
Foncez. Merci Maude. Luc.
Écoute, c'est plate, mais je vais faire l'écho de ce que Maud a dit. J'ai trouvé ça très bien, de juste la faire et de se faire confiance. OK, de se faire confiance. Le coaching, c'est pas de se faire violence, c'est tout le contraire de ça. Donc, il y a peut-être des mauvaises perceptions des fois qu'on peut avoir, des préjugés. Donc, j'ajouterais au Just Do It, fais-toi confiance.
Merci, fais-toi confiance. Et Sophie, en ajoutant à Just Do It, faire confiance.
Eh bien, c'est justement d'excellents mots. en se faisant confiance, on peut se transformer pour devenir la meilleure version de soi. So by trusting ourselves, we're being the best version of ourselves and achieving who we can be. We're achieving our why. On est capable de se développer puis vraiment aller à notre réalisation de soi, d'atteindre notre pourquoi dans notre vie. Donc, pour moi, c'est pour ça que je trouve le coaching, c'est un excellent outil pour une personne du point de vue professionnel et du point de vue personnel. So both on a personal and a professional front, I think coaching is an excellent tool for anyone.
Thank you. And I hope you read all the great comments because it's amazing how people are seeing this session as valuable. They're thanking all of you for your testimonials, for how you share your story. Hélène, people are also asking, how do I have access to a psychometric tool? How do I have access to Hélène? I know we're going to share the content on Padlet, but any other advice, your advice for those who are wondering, should I hire a coach? What would be your advice, your word?
Je commencerai par le début. Alors, je leur demanderai qu'est-ce que vous voulez avoir le plus pour vous en 2021. So what do you want more in 2001? Write it and ask yourself what might be in the way. Hein? Qu'est-ce qui est dans le chemin pour que vous atteigniez ça?
Write these questions, people. These are amazing questions.
Yes.
Maud, would you like to write them down for I know you're chatting really quickly. So write the questions that Hélène are asking. And it's like that. If you work with a coach, you ask a question to your coach and what they do is never respond to it, but ask you another question. Go ahead, Hélène.
So it's the beginning. I believe that when you ask the question when you want more, then the coach appears. Hein? On dit en français, quand l'élève est prêt, le maître apparaît. So,
that's a good one. Yes.
Et les références, so the reference to have more info on NOVA, you can see it in the slide that will be shared. So,
thank you, all of you. There's 2 minutes left. I want to reinforce that the summit will end with a huge celebration on Friday, 1 o'clock, Ottawa time. I invite all of you, invite your friends, invite all the people that I want to celebrate. And Sophie, Luc, and Maud, and Hélène, I hope you can make it because we're going to honor the results of the week. And obviously, the impact of coaching during this week. We'll have a lot of testimonials as well. Donc, merci tout le monde. Thank you so much. If there are any comments, go on Padlet. There's a section there that you can comment, ask more questions, and we'll be able to only improve from here for the 3rd edition that will happen in the Coaching Summit 2021. If you have any recommendations, feel free to send us comments. I know there was a few comments on Padlet. We're going to test Padlet and see how this learning hub works for everyone. But Barbara, I know you're answering a lot of these questions. Je voudrais simplement vous souhaiter une belle journée. Start thinking about those coaching questions and have a great, great rest of the day, everyone. Merci Sophie, Luc et Maud et Hélène. Have a great day.